What's up everybody and welcome back to another Dota 1 commentary, and this is a match from GEST February. And yes, although this season of GEST may be over, GEST and GMPGL, which is the Filipino Gaming League, I'm not too sure of the full name, but they are partnering with each other and they're going to bring you more Dota 1 and Dota 2 content from Southeast Asia. And of course, if you want more Southeast Asian Dota 2 content, check out Beyond the Summit, LD Gods, Winter, all doing a fantastic job bringing you a lot of matches from the Southeast Asian League. But if you want to stick and watch some Dota 1, I know Gods did a lot of casts from the GEST League, and I know Screengar Guy is planning to do a lot of casts right now. He's a little bit busy, but he will be planning to go around and do a bunch of these casts from this tournament. So if you are in the mood for some Dota 1, well, there's actually plenty coming your way, so please do support Screengar Guy, since he's pretty much the only exclusive Dota 1 commentator left. I mean, other people still cover it, but Screengar Guy still loves and really likes commentating Dota 1, so please do keep following him and supporting him. But as it is, I will bring you this cast, flying solo once again, but hey, more Dota commentators in the future, I can promise you that. And also, just a little bit of a spoiler that I will reveal in a vlog later on. I will be doing more and different Dota 1 content. I mean, there's only so much you can do with Dota 1, but hopefully it's a special bit of series. I might have to do a bit of research before going into this project, but hopefully you will enjoy it, and of course all the details will be revealed, but there is going to be a segment of my channel that will be exclusively Dota 1 for a bit. So yeah, more stuff in the future, so please keep supporting me, keep subscribing, keep spreading the word, and yeah, keep showing support for Dota 1. The best way to do that is just spread the word and tell your friends. If you guys have friends, which I'm sure you all do. Hey, if you don't have friends, I'll be your friend. Man, I'm such a nice guy sometimes. Anyway, enough of all that blabbering. This is a match between IO and Invasion something. Invasion-Gigabyte? Yeah, Invasion-Gigabyte. And I actually, for once in my life, forgot to check the nationalities of the teams. I'm actually very disappointed with myself. But I will find out. I'll post in the comments below what the nationalities of these teams are. I think this is a matchup without any Pinoy teams. But I think Invasion-Gigabyte might be Invasion Red, so they might be Malaysian, they might be Thai. I'm pretty sure IO is Thai or Vietnamese. I don't know. But sorry, I don't have any more information. But again, this is from the group stages, and I picked this matchup because there is a very interesting hero who I feel like is probably the hero that is most severely lacking in Dota 2 at the moment. Not talking about Drow, who's technically in Dota 2, although she's not in the captain's mode for whatever reason, and she is going to pick up for Invasion-Gigabyte. But you are going to find out very shortly. Yes, it is TC, Tauren Chieftain. And you can tell this is not a Pinoy game because Pinoys do never pick TC from what I see. Only Malaysians and sometimes Vietnamese teams pick up TC. And I feel like TC, a very underrated, very powerful hero in the Southeast Asian scene. I mean, the Chinese scene really made great use of TC. He was one of the best heroes in terms of breaking up the hills, getting into the base, really doing a solid job in terms of team fights, can control the runes with his mid lane presence, has incredible aura. He can pretty much do it all. The problem is that, you know, he is melee and his stun isn't really the most reliable, but he does have some steps in place to really take advantage of that. And if the TC with the Sand King combination go down, man, all hell will break loose on the side of the Sentinel. But meanwhile, IO, they have a pretty gank-oriented lineup. Weaver first pick, you don't see that ever in the Western Dota 2 scene, or actually in the Dota 2 scene in general. But the Pinoys really like Weaver because, or the Southeast Asian Dota 1 scene really likes Weaver because he's survivable, he has potential to carry the late game, and he does pretty well to try and just needs to go invisible, run around, cause a bunch of chaos, and just be annoying like a bug. Of course, Puck, a very high pickup. Puck has been receiving a resurgence in Dota 2. Nice to see that. Chaos Knight. Jakiro, who has been fading out in Dota 2 quite a bit. And yeah, Dragon Knight, pretty much the only staple hero these days, other than sort of Sand King wouldn't be a first round phase. But Sand King has been trending up in Dota 2 recently. So it'll be interesting to see how Invasion-Gigabyte make use of all of these farmers. TC most likely gonna be farming in the off lane, mid lane Dragon Knight, and putting Drow. No, I guess what Invasion-Gigabyte are going to do is run an aggressive challenge with Sand King, Drow, and Lina, put TC in the safe lane, and put Dragon Knight in the mid lane, or that they can swap Dragon Knight and TC. TC does have easier time accessing runes, and this is a Southeast Asian Dota 1 game, we probably most likely will see two couriers regardless. Meanwhile, on IO, how can he get lanes? Well, probably Puck off lane or mid solo. Could be seeing a Shadow Demon Chaos Knight mid and a Weaver safe lane. Not too sure about this. I guess it'll be Weaver safe lane with Chaos Knight and a Trine if we do see that. Or Weaver mid lane with the Chaos Knight Trine. I'm not too sure. I'm not really been keeping up to date with the Southeast Asian Dota 1 scene, but again, there will be more Dota 1 content in the near future. So keep your eyes peeled for that and spread the word. But we'll introduce the players and the teams. Man, I have forgotten all of these hotkeys. Looks like Gunner is playing the Shadow Demon, Sambo is playing the Jakiro, Panha is playing the Puck, the Dead is playing Weaver, and Regit is playing the Chaos Knight, which is Latin for he, she, it rules. Man, that culture by B1. So cultural. We have S playing the Sand King, Baby is playing the Drow. Looks like K-Tan is playing the TC, FZ is playing the Dragon Knight, and EXB is going to be playing, or XB is playing the Lina. And already we're going to see some aggressive maneuverings. Alright, giving myself a little bit of a slap in the face to wake up because I'm sure all hell will break loose. I mean, there's no Pinot teams in this matchup, so it might be a little bit more conservative, but still, this is Southeast Asian Dota 1. If we were casting two Pinot teams, then most assuredly we'd see all hell break loose, as Lina already could be caught out of position. Not too sure what she was doing there, but she is going to pay for it with her life, just trying to throw down as much damage as possible, but she is going to die to Puck, and Puck already has a charger in the magic stick, probably will pick up a bottle relatively soon, and so far Lina very, very much regretting her decision to step out. Not too sure why she ventured out so far, considering that the other supports were not in position to help reinforce her, and I don't know what ward she was trying to place, maybe trying to place a river ward. But as it is, she does pay for her life, and luckily for her, the other team doesn't get too much experience. At least only Puck is the one who truly benefits from that. And you can deal with Puck, although Puck with something like an early bottle or an early null talisman can make it very difficult to lane against. As we are going to see an off-lane Weaver. That is another thing that we see from both the Western and the Southeast Asian Dota 1 scene. Off-lane Weaver. Weaver very survivable, but I feel like Weaver definitely wants to get a lot of items. I mean, he's relatively item independent, but if you are relying on him as your late game carry, which I guess they sort of aren't because they have Chaos Knight, as looks like a nice stun. Gonna catch out the Weaver. Light Strike Ray hits on just the edge. That Sentry Ward expertly placed, managed to catch the Weaver. So nicely done by Invasion-Gigabyte, avenging their fallen comrade Lina, getting sweet, sweet revenge on that bug. Although she should get revenge on this bug here, who actually is a Fairy Dragon, not really a bug in this game. So man, Dota 1, Dota 2, completely different games in terms of graphic models and also the style of play. But yeah, talking about Weaver, I feel like he's a hero. You know, Chaos Knight gets most of his farm by killing, which is really, really popular in Southeast Asian Dota 1 scene, as you all know. But he doesn't really do that well in the late game if he doesn't manage to get the kills going. Of course, if he does do well, he's a very, very powerful late game hero. With the illusions, with the critical strike, I mean, it's very, very deadly to be with him. But I like this rotation. TC versus Chaos Knight. TC should be able to win this lane because that is AoE, easier time farming, can have easier access to the runes, but Chaos Knight definitely won't be in a position to die. And they want to get Weaver some sort of farmer experience, as Ice Path is going to fly in. Here comes the Disruption, not going to be casted. I guess he realized that without the Shadow, or without the Soul Catcher, really can get a kill, but that might cost Jakiro his life. Here comes Light Strike Ray, and Drow, still doing as much damage as she ever will be doing, is going to be thwarted in her attempt, but another Ice Path going to slow down the assault, allowing Weaver and Sand King to escape. And man, Drow with the Rage here backing her up, with the Sand King setting up with the stun, is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. Meanwhile, Shadow Demon, really not AoE, can really do a good job in terms of bursting people down with that Soul Catcher, but I think he'll be pretty stymied in this lane because the hero just outputs so much burst damage that even if, I mean, this is why Sand King's sort of good in support capacity. Of course, you all know that I love having Sand King farm up, get a fast blink dagger, because I feel like his ultimate does lose effectiveness. But Sand King, if he does manage to get that AoE stun off onto two heroes, even if that hero that's being initiated on is disrupted, you know, that just gives Sand King more time to get in position and get that 2-man stun off, making it very, very difficult for the opposing tri-lane to not only pick up a kill, but just really sort of get out of position so that Sand King can't double stun them. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Puck is controlling the lane, did get that first split, 11-7, but Dragon Knight won't die. I mean, he's saying, I'm a true dragon, although he's just sort of a little, he's a faker dragon, he's a poser dragon, but so is Puck. Puck is a fairy dragon, so, you know, dragon on dragon action. not very hot at this point, as Dragonite, of course, just wishes he could be a dragon at this point. As Weaver gonna get his clarity cancel, gonna be a little bit upset as the Echo Stomp is gonna fly and gonna catch on Chaos Knight on just the tip, but still looks like TC recognizes he can get the kill, and actually TC ventured a bit too far in the tower range, but the tower decides to spare TC's life, even though there was a 3-second stun in place. Very, very unfortunate for the Chaos Knight. And now he's out of mana completely, and Chaos Knight, will he get a bottle? That is what I'm wondering. And actually, since this isn't really a P9 on P9 action, you might not see double bottle courier. No? Double bottle courier on the Scourge side, and can't really tell on the Sentinel side. No, it doesn't look like they have 2 couriers. What is this madness? That means obviously Sentinel are going to lose. I mean, there's no question about it. They don't have 2 couriers. Actually, I can call it Bottle Crow because there actually is a Crow model. Man. When will there be a Bottle Crow in Dota 2? I'm sure that's what we're all wondering. Although I'm wondering is when we're going to see a mini Viper in Dota 2. As unfortunately the Burrow Strike does whiff, but already this top lane has been pretty much completely lost by the Sentinel. Weaver's farm is an astounding 6-0. Meanwhile, Drow hits very hard. 14 CS, not the best, but has picked up 1 kill, so has a little bit more gold in that exchange. Soul Catcher gonna fly in, nicely placed by the Shadow Demon. Looks like he's gonna take a bunch of damage. Sentry Ward is in place, allowing Weaver to run up and get the kill, as looks like Sand King is going to get a lot of trouble. Actually ventured a bit too close to tower range, can drop pick up the kill. No, Weaver's trying to run back. Whose Sentry Ward is that? That was actually the Sentinel's ward. So the Sentinel making some sort of comeback. Nice job by the Shadow Demon. Man, if it was me, I'd be super scared to run up. And actually, Drought does not fear anything. Ice Path does get dodged nicely. Ice Path a little bit easier to dodge in Dota 1 than in Dota 2. At least from what I've seen. I haven't actually played Dota 1 in a long time, so I can't really tell. But yeah, nice placement of the Soul Catcher by Shadow Demon, catching it, placing it on just the edge so it would catch the Lina, allowing them to get a kill, and Sand King, unfortunately without the chain sense by the Lina, couldn't really get the kill with the help of Drow. So that is going to allow Weaver to get himself back in the game, and right now I think, well, we'll check out the levels. Shadow Demon level 3, Weaver level 4, Jakiro level 3 compared to the levels on the Scourge. Level 3 Lina, level 3 Sand King, level 4 Drow. So it looks like this trial is mostly even, but I still think the Scourge have it if they manage to get a nice 2-man stun. Of course, if anybody on the Scourge find themselves out of position, then they will just die. So it's a little bit of a dicey situation in that tri lane. But it looks like the Sentinel support's going to roam middle, trying to get a smoke gank going, also trying to secure the rune at the same point. Although runes don't really matter for the Scourge, they have Bottle Crows. As it looks like Dragonite gonna just go to the bottom lane, try to pick up a rune. Earth! Man, Earth Splitter managed to almost kill off the Chaos Knight, as here comes a rotation on by the Dragonite. Might find himself a 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, as it looks like Chaos Knight is gonna die. Very, very unfortunate, as Haze called by Sand King. But nicely placed Earth Splitter. Of course, keep in mind, I think the TC build is just get 1 point aura, then max aura later on. But TC hurts. If he has the mana restoration, that spirit, the ancestral spirit, hurts quite a bit. Echo Stomp allows for an easy ultimate, and 35% HP at any point in the game. Very, very scary to deal with. As I think the only benefits of leveling up the Earth Splitter is just an additional second of slow, which is pretty significant, but still not really the best situation. Remember when TC was first introduced, had something like 70-second cooldown on the ultimate, Ancestral Spirit was further, Echo Stomp had a bigger AoE, the Natural Order had a bigger AoE as well, as looks like we are going to see a gank middle lane. Dragonite is going to die, a little bit of poor chain stuns, but it won't matter. Dragonite is going to take the fall in that exchange. But yeah, I think TC had something like a 60% win rate on the statistics on Dota League. And, you know, TC when he first came out might just give Drow and Dota 2 a run for her money before she got nerfed. But as it is, Weaver is going to be in a lot of trouble. Sentry Ward has in place nice defensive disruption. Light Strike Array has been mistimed. This might allow Weaver to escape, as maybe it was a bit of lag, maybe it was just a bit of mistying. That Shadow Demon disruption, super annoying to deal with. But still, the Light Strike Array came back. Weaver did not notice that there was a Sentry in the picture. And it looks like Jakiro is going to die as well. Dual Breath going to whiff completely, and Shadow Demon has to get the heck out of there. He is going to do so, but now the Scourge have all the advantage in the tri lane. And it looks like they've won bottom lane. Mid lane seems like a little bit of a wash. So Scourge coming out on top, and it's obviously because they have one more courier than the Sentinel. Actually, the Sentinel have 2 couriers now as well. Man, I'm just blind or something. So now the game is clearly even because both teams have 2 crows. But still, just looking at the overall game picture, as TC just going to get reality for a bit of tower damage. Chaos Knight, wasting a bit of mana, but Reality Rift relatively cheap in terms of mana cost, but still, Chaos Knight does want to have enough mana to cast both the stun and the Reality Rift if it comes down to a gank. But just looking at the overall lineup, I mean, how can you fight this? The Scourge have not only good team fight in Sand King and TC, but they also have 2 harder carries. But the Sentinel technically do have better gankers, bit more burst damage. So I have to think that the Sentinel have to be super aggressive in the early game, or in the early stages of the mid game to try to get back some momentum, because otherwise they will just fall flat on their face in the late stages of the game against Drow, especially with an underfarmed Weaver and a Chaos Knight who has died once. As there is going to be rotation around, Sand King trying to get in position, only level 4, so not the highest range of Burst Strike, only 450 range. Meanwhile, Lina going to do a creep pull, might be in a bit of trouble with Shadow Dune, as the Adventure is super far forward. As looks like there aren't any wards on the map, looks like TC going to get Reality right in the face, but is going to give Sand King an opening. Can he get in position? Earth Splitter is going to be placed, nicely done by the TC, as it is going to suck Chaos Knight back in with the nicely placed Burrow Strike. Nicely timed gank, 100-second cooldown on Earth Splitter. Still very spammable, relatively speaking, for such a very strong ultimate, but Pug has decided to make his presence known on the top lane. Going to pick off Lina. Lina throws down as much damage as she possibly can deal, but still won't be enough to save the drop. But here comes the Echo Stomp being placed. No, it gets cancelled, as TC decides better. It didn't have an ultimate and really couldn't do anything, but now he's trapped in the trees. Very, very unfortunate situation with his TC, and actually he might just end up dying. No, Weaver actually dove in. I think he should have just kept attacking, but as is, Weaver might just end up paying for it with his life. He is going to die, but looks like TC ends up dying as well. Mutually assured destruction. 7-7, all Chaos is breaking loose as usual, but looks like there's going to be engagement in the mid lane. Looks like the stun was avoided, but nice disruption going to prevent DK's escape, and DK gonna die to this Rider of Death. Chaos Knight saying sweet, sweet revenge. So it looks like Sentinel, as soon as the wards expired, as soon as it said, oh, Sentinel, they should probably be aggressive in the early stages of the mid game, otherwise they will just die. They decide, okay, you know, we'll start ganking, which is definitely the right way to go about it. When in doubt, gank, especially in Southeast Asian Dota. As where are the wards on the map? No wards on the map. Cool. Alright, so don't have to talk about wards. It's pretty cool. Wards suck. I always, you know, I love playing Dazzle, but I always hate getting wards on Dazzle just because I feel like Dazzle does so well with items. But it's also because I'm a greedy son of a bitch. As actually there is a Sentinel ward trying to spot out the movement of the Scourge. Jakiro gonna roam top, but I think the current might have spotted out the movement. Lina might be placing herself in a bit of an awkward situation. Jakiro, pretty tank. Swarm is just gonna catch. Here comes the Ice Path, gonna hit Lina on the edge, and Lina's gonna take so much damage. She is gonna die. No, guts off the Dragon Slave. Can Weaver escape? Time-lapse is gonna be able to secure Weaver's escape. Me on the bottom lane, as usual, all hell is breaking loose. Oh my god, looks like Chaos Knight ended up dying to these melee team fight monsters in the form of Sand King and the TC, able to pick up ganks as well. Now TC, I imagine, will pick up the mech, which looks like he is going to go for, or the pipe, which again he could go for. Then I imagine he might pick up something like just utility items, whether it be Force Staff, Yules, Drums, items like that, which can help out his team, because TC doesn't need a Blink Dagger. His range of initiation is just super far, and again, TC one of the best heroes in terms of sieging the high ground, because really, if you're over here, you can pretty much stun people all the way over here, which is ridiculous AoE. It's pretty much like a Naga sleep if Naga runs up to get you. And of course, Earth Splitter is just such a magnificent spell in terms of starting out a team fight. Oh hey, you want to fight a team fight? Oh wait, looks like you're down 35% of HP right off the bat. And keep in mind, 35% of max HP does scale as the game goes on, so TC does do a lot for the game, which is why I'm very, very puzzled to see TC not in Dota 2. Because the Chinese still play TC quite a bit in Dota 1 from what I can tell. And actually, there was some relatively recent Chinese replays released as Lina gonna die to the Fairy Dragon. But meanwhile, Drow is gonna get ganked. Swarm is casted. Here comes Soul Catcher, and looks like Drow is gonna be in a world of hurt. Look at how much damage the Gemini attack does with help of Soul Catcher, and it looks like Sand King gonna find himself in a sticky situation. Here comes Echo Stomp, but I think our Splitter is on cooldown. Actually, Dream Coil did stop that channeling of the TC. One of the unfortunate things of playing with the TC. Dragonite is coming in to reinforce him, but a Blink Dagger by Puck managed to pick it off, as Dragonite gonna pick up a kill. Puck gonna pick up a kill as well, but it looks like TC did end up dying. Dragonite on the run. Can he manage to escape? Chaos Knight does have enough mana, so if he can catch up, Dragonite is most most assuredly boned. As we already have to gonna catch the Dragonite. Dragonite, in fact, is boned. As unfortunately it's not in dragon form, so it can't explode in a burst of flesh and bones. So that metaphor would have been a bit more appropriate. So nice ganking by the Sentinel. They have probably a slight experience advantage, but look at the tower count. It's 2 towers to nothing in favor of the Scourge. So Scourge probably have a decent gold lead. Probably not the best, considering these are mid-game kills, allowing you for a bit more experience. And keep in mind, mid-game kills means that the carries are out of the picture for a little bit longer, and they're not farming while you guys are. But we'll check out the overall farm levels. It looks like farming is relatively even. Looks like Scourge has a slight edge, from what I can tell. Very hesitant to sort of open up the skull graph. As you can see, TC 51 CS. Meanwhile, Drow and Dragonite farming pretty well. Meanwhile, Weaver having a difficult time in terms of farm. But looks like the Scourge want to make something happen. They have a level 10 TC who is going to go for that mecha build. And Sand King is level 8. I don't think he's used Epicenter just yet. Actually going to pick up a drum. Sand King is relatively far for a support Sand King, as the Filipino or the Southeast Asian scene in general just manages to farm super well. As looks like the Bro Strike is going to come in. Here comes the Echo Stomp. Laguna Blade going to catch off the Jakiro in the blink of an eye, but Dream Coil is going to interrupt the TC. Earth Splitter is going to be casted. Drow, can she manage to escape? Here comes the Epicenter being shelled. The Earth Splitter and the Epicenter means that all the Earth leads to all the death. As looks like Sand King is going to die, so overall 3 for 3 exchange, considering that the Sentinel were getting completely outclassed in terms of teamfight. That tower extra damage really helped them out. As it looks like Drow died, Dragonite managed to escape, but Weaver managed to pick up a lot of experience in that exchange. Definitely going to help him out. What is he going to go for? I imagine, well, Lincoln's will help against Laguna and Burrow Strike, but I don't think Lincoln's would be the best build in this situation. I mean, he does want some mana, but I think you just get a VIP booster if you want some HP, and then go back into some damage items, because they're going to rely heavily on Weaver, considering Chaos Knight has not really been able to get his mojo going 3, 4, and 2, and doesn't even have drums at this point in the game. So Chaos Knight not going to really farm up to get himself back in contention, so they're going to have to rely heavily on Weaver, the Sentinel that is. But yeah, I was talking about TC. That's why I'm a little bit puzzled to see TC not yet in Dota 2, because he is so important, both the Southeast scene and more importantly the Chinese scene, because, you know, as the Chinese scene goes, so does the Dota 2 scene go. But, you know, Sky Earth Mage is pretty important in the Filipino scene at the moment. He's very, very powerful as a mid lane hero. But I think it's mostly just because the artwork has not been finished on these heroes, and the art team does like to take their time, making sure they put out the best models. As there is going to be a roam around, looks like Scourge continuing to play mostly in the dark, and that might end up costing him, as Drow is going to get spotted, going to get swarmed right in the face. Chaos Knight is going to be on the attack as well, Swarm giving them vision, allowing Chaos Knight easy reality rifts, as looks like the Scourge support's going to rotate around with the smoke TC, but nice waning rate by the puck, going to ensure that he does not get Laguna Blade right in the face. TC going to pop the mechanism, helping to save Left Lena for just a bit longer, but TC might be in a world of hurt very, very soon. Or Macro Part going to do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Earth Splitter has been casted. Puck needs to phase shift it out. Nicely done by the Puck, managed to phase shift all the damage, and it's going to be a 4 for nothing exchange. And you can see the power of the Sentinel ganking really putting a lot of pressure on the Scourge. And Earth Splitter is on cooldown for the next 100 seconds, so that is a bit troubling for the Scourge. So they have the potential to lose potentially 2 towers. They have the potential to potentially lose. Damn. Repetitive much, V-Bone? Obviously. But so far, nice engagement by the Sentinel, really taking advantage of their shorter cooldown spells, really taking advantage of their overall ganking ability, whether it be Shadow Demon, Chaos Knight, really strong gankers. Meanwhile, Drow is having a pretty rough mid-game, gonna go for that Lothar's Edge. Meanwhile, Dragon Knight, not going for anything like a Drums or Lothar's, just going straight up BK. I like that decision. You know, Dragon Knight mid lane, so we often see, or pretty much you always see that Lothar's Edge, and I imagine he will go back in Lothar's Edge, but he really just wants to tank up, because Scourge, again, they win in teamfight, but they can't really get a teamfight if all their carries are dead. And even if they do manage to get their spells, if all their carries are dead, they won't really have the damage to finish him off, even with the Earth Splitter and Epicenter damage coming through. And it's really difficult to rely on Sand King for the Epicenter, considering this puck has had a very, very strong impact at this point. 7-1-8, this puck is just on a rampage. Wonder what he's going to go for next. Probably a Dagon, as he does have the Null Talisman, and Southeast Asian Dota pucks do love their Dagons. So what will the Scourge do? I think they're finding that the lack of wards is troubling them a bit, as these wards going to play limbo with each other, Just eyeing each other up. Very, very hot. But look at these Sentinel wards, placing them out all around the jungle. And Scourge just placing them pretty defensively, trying to get access to the runes. But otherwise, Scourge playing in the dark, and I think that is costing it a bit, as they are going to smoke up. Not going to be spotted by the Sentinel ward, but looks like Chaos Knight suspects something's up anyway. And that is going to mean a free tower for the Weaver, and he is going to go into the Lincoln Sphere. I don't like this. You already know my feelings on this, but it gives him mana regen. It gives him some extra insurance from Laguna Blade, but other than that, what's the point? What's the point, Weaver? I'm disappointed. Maybe he'll go for a refresher. Maybe I'll just pick up the Perseverance for just some, you know, regen and plus 10 damage, but it most likely will be in a Lincoln Sphere. So that's a bit troubling, considering that a lot of the physical damage from the Sentinel is going to be far away. And once these carries start picking up BKBs, where is the damage going to come from on the Sentinel if Chaos Knight dies? The answer is not too sure, because Puck is pretty much all magical damage and did come for the Dagon build. But still, I think we may have made a slight mistake. We'll see if that ends up costing him. As Drow playing super safe, no wards giving her any vision. Actually, this ward is going to give her some vision. I don't know if it saw the rotation. Actually, looks like the Sentinel supports are smoked up. Drow is going to be in a little bit of trouble if she manages to approach the wave, but she does sense something's up, sees nobody on the map. And considering the Scourge are doing no Drow, no Drow! Gonna run away. Nicely done. And keep in mind, the annoying thing about Drow is that she does have that global aura to all her ranged heroes, and once Dragonite morphs into the range form, he gets that plus aura damage as well. So Dragonite and Drow, very, very potent pairing, as Drow gonna Lothar's Edge up, gonna try to spot it out. As Io does have a Sentry Ward there, but no, Reality Earth manages to whiff. Here comes the Cast Bolt, but it looks like Drow ran out of the vision of the Sentry Ward, so the Cast Bolt actually did not hit. Bit unfortunate for the Chaos Knight, as he did use quite a bit of mana. But it does mean that this tower is going to be taken pretty much for free. The question is, does Scourge want to fight this? As Sand King is going to go for a straight up Veil. Interesting. I imagine Earthsplitter does scale with the Sand King Veil, but still, it does a constant percentage of 35%. So I'm not too sure if it does. I imagine it does, and even if it doesn't scale, which I'm pretty sure it does, you know, Lina, Laguna Blade, Breath of Fire, Epicenter, all will help Sand King immensely, but still, if the Puck's on top of his game for the most part, which he has been, Sand King should theoretically never be able to channel the Epicenter, as it looks like the Chaos Knight is going to escape the Echo Stomp for just a bit with the Phantasm, as looks like the Earthsplitter is being channeled, and looks like the Sentinel are all going to line up in a straight line. Nice defensive disruption. Chaos Knight, can he escape? No, going to get right-clicked by the Drow, but looks like Drow going to be in a bit of trouble by the Weaver as well, as looks like Purple managed to pick up a kill on Brown. I'm not too sure who either of those heroes were, as where is Drow? Where is Drow? Drow trying to run away. No detection, but is going to reveal herself, going to cast Silence. Here comes Sand King on rotation, and I guess this is why Weaver wants Lincoln Sphere. But still, Drow with a nice juke with the Lothar's Edge, and the Sentinel doing a nice job placing sentries, but it might be time for them just to pick up a gem. You never want to leave a Drow alive in any sort of situation. She is one of those carries who could pretty much take on 2v1 at very low HP just with the help of Silence. So Sentinel gonna lose a lot of momentum. Didn't even put on too much pressure with that team fight, and actually the Scourge did do a tower trade, so it looks like the tower count is in favor of the Scourge. This bottom lane has yet to be pushed, so Scourge do have the potential to go for Roshan if they really feel like it. No towers for the Sentinel to really quickly reinforce it. And Drow does do quite well in terms of taking down Roshan very, very quickly. You know, just checking out the gold. Weaver is going to go for the Lincoln Sphere. CK going to go for that BKB, but he is struggling very, very hard at this point. 22 minutes in the game, only has drums in that Ogre Axe. Meanwhile, Drow, after that kill, managed to pick up an Ogre Axe herself, so she's doing a bit better. Dragonite has finished the BKB, and I'm not too sure how the Sentinel will ever be able to kill the Dragonite at this point, considering that all of their damage is magical for the most part, other than the Chaos Knight. And the Weaver does hurt, but still, Chaos Knight or Dragonite does have, like, literally 100 billion armor. No, I'm not exaggerating. That is, look, 19 plus 100 billion. That is what it actually says. And I'm going to stick to that. You know, TC, what is he going to go for? Probably for the drums. Do the Scourge have a drums on their side? Not just yet. Sand King is going to have that Veil up relatively soon, so despite Sentinel's really, really strong early mid-game presence with the ganking lineup, Really, once the Scourge match regained some map control, and that Lothar's Edge by Drow managed to save her life at least 2 times. And this Weaver choice of items really might come back to cost Sentinel perhaps the game. Because again, in the late game, not only does Scourge have teamfight, they have the harder hitters. And just looking at the Sentinel, what goes through BKB? Oh, just a Demonic Purge. That's it. Neil on the Sentinel. Well, none of these carries other than Chaos Knight are going to pick up BKB. But even then, I think Dragon Knight and Drow can just sort of right-click the Chaos Knight down through the BKB. Because Drow just hits like an absolute truck. So I'm a bit worried for the Sentinel at this point, but still. It's never over when it's over, and Sentinels still do have a kill lead, a healthy kill lead at that. And overall, they do have the gem up on the Shaladin. Weaver, how close are you to your Lincoln Sphere? Is that shipped out? No, that's just Smoke of Deceit. No, that's just something else. Where are your items? 173 gold. As there is going to be a giant engagement, Puck is going to dive right off the bat, going to give up a huge portion of the Sentinel's damage, and they are forced to retrieve right off the bat, as looks like TC going to pick up the gem that Puck did drop, and looks like Weaver is going to end up dying. Looks like the chain zones are just going to be a bit too much, and that is going to be the end of that. As no, Puck didn't have the gem. Looks like the Scourge actually picked up the gem, and I wonder how many times I can say the phrase looks like in this game. Or at least in the past 1 minute. I think it's over 7 or 8. Meanwhile, Drow can initiate on this Chaos Knight. Lothar's Edge means a very unhappy Chaos Knight. But look at what Chaos Knight's doing, trying to get up close and personal. So Drow loses so much of her damage. Already 30 damage was reduced, but now Chaos Knight is forced to run away. But that means Chaos Knight gonna be thwarted in his attempt to farm up. And Weaver dying. Where was his items? Was I just missing it? No, that's... Oh, I forgot Weaver was yellow. I thought Weaver was orange for whatever reason. Well, he has the ultimate orb, but he's still quite far away from that Lincoln Sphere being finished. And Scourge, they have all the map control in the world. Again, these towers very important. And Scourge with that gem just going to de-war it up and take Roshan for free pretty much. And there's nothing better than a free Roshan. And the question is, well, it'll probably go to Drow. Dragon Knight already relatively tanky, and when Dragon Knight dies, he doesn't respawn in that big fire-breathing form. And soon enough, that dragon will be spitting ice. This Dragon Knight just going to bulk up again, saying, "How are you going to kill me with all this armor and with magic immunity?" And the answer is, I'm not too sure. I guess the only chance that the Sentinel have is just to burst him down or chainstorm him to death before he can get the BKB off, because they are not going to kill him otherwise in these next 5 to 10 minutes while Weaver is so weak. Meanwhile, Sand King, I imagine, finished the Veil. Veil? No, he picked up the Blink Dagger instead. I like this move. Allows him to actually channel the Epicenter pretty much for free without worry of this Puck. And he can channel the Epicenter out of sight, considering the Scourge have most of the map control on their side. They do have the potential to de-war it up. As what will Sentinel try to do to get themselves back in the game? I don't think they can slow play this. Because again, team fight and the damage by Dragon Knight and Drow just going to get more and more intense. But really, what choices does Sentinel have? And the answer is, I'm not too sure. They might just have to go for a lot of smoke kills, or smoke ganks, but I'm pretty sure smoke might be on cooldown. Fortunately, cannot check at this point. And Drow finishing the Lothars, I imagine she's pretty close to that BKE. Actually, we'll have it in about 150 gold, so that is another very costly blow for the Sentinel's hopes of taking this game. But really, I mean, how can Sentinel engage it with the Blink Dagger Sand King, with a gem on the TC, with TC's insanely long range of initiation? And really, if he manages to get 3 people in that stun, just going to set up the Earth Splitter and the Sand King Epicenter. Keep in mind, it takes about 3 to 4 seconds for Earth Splitter to actually take an effect, and it takes 2 seconds for Sand King to channel the Epicenter. So once that damage comes in, it'll all come in pretty much in a giant burst. As is there a pipe in the works on the side of the Sentinel? There should be. No pipe in the works. No mecha at all either. And this is very troubling. Not only do they not have mecha, they don't have a pipe. So these alternates will still remain relevant for very long, considering I think Sand King will probably finish his Veil faster than anybody on Sentinel can finish a pipe. Puck is level 16, but really might be I wonder what Puck will go for, probably for a Hex. Has that Perseverance, please limit not being Lincolns. Please, no Lincolns. Hopefully it's a refresher or something like that. Or some other thing, Bloodstone. Hopefully it's not Lincolns. If it's Lincolns, I might just cry. And look at these couriers just dutifully following around. I hate that Goblin Zeppelin voice, it just sounds so obnoxious. You know when they switched Clockwork's voice in Dota 1 to that, from the just like little sort of machine clinking noises to just that really annoying Goblin voice, I was just like, oh man, I'm never gonna play Clock again. And that's what that Goblin Zeppelin voice reminds me of, as it is super annoying. But I guess that's sort of the point. And the Scourge, Aegis probably up for another 2 to 3 minutes. They're going to try to get some map control. May hopefully pressure the tier 3. They have the dagger up on the Sand King. Have the initiation on the form of the TC Lina. No major items picked up. Dragonite still has that 9-second BKB as well as a plate mail, but they had the drop BKB finished. So it looks like it might be time for the Scourge to push in, but Sentinel not going to make it easy for them. And Weaver, very mobile, can definitely farm up in the meantime. Has fine fished Lincolns, but it's going to be very late. But at the very least now, he does have some damage, and Weaver is insanely hard to kill. So if Weaver can manage to farm up a very fast damage on him in the next 5 or so minutes, then that could give Sentinel an opening. But still, it's going to be very difficult, especially that TC gem. As you can see, Dragonite holding off on that level, keeping up the Poison Dragon. Poison Dragon, so much better in terms of pushing. I mean, get the Fire Dragon if you want to do a bit more damage and clumped up engagements, or if you want to clear creeps, but in terms of pushing down towers, that Poison Dragon definitely much more valuable. And just going to save that skill point till it's level 16, then going to level up 2 points in that Elder Dragon form ultimate, and then have that Frosty Dragon rain blizzards on everybody. As Dragonite going to pop the BKB misclick. Super big misclick. And that means he's going to be out of the picture for a little bit. And there goes a lot of the taking power on the Scourge. I mean, they should be able to take this handily with the Aegis and the Tifa on their side. And Weaver, is he just going to try to do a tower trade? I think Glyph has already been used, but Puck is going to initiate. Now he sees Dragonite's BKB is down. Chaos Knight is going to use the BKB as well. Going to Phantasm as well. Sand King going to chill the Epicenter, blinked in, doing a bunch of damage. And looks like Teal is first one to die, but it looks like Pink going to trade his life as well. Drow trying to right click away, but unfortunately being kited relentlessly. So it is going to be 1-for-1. They lost to Jakiro for a Sand King. Overall, a pretty decent trade for the Sentinel, considering that 2 BKB charges were used. But now Dragonite is level 16. What is Weaver's farm now? 1400 gold. What is he going to go for? I imagine Radiance is pretty much not an option at this point. Probably just better just go into something like a Crystallis or an MKB. But Sentinel showing that they still have life left in them as I drop a water glass. Hopefully that didn't splash on any important wires, as otherwise you might just hear me scream in agony very, very soon. But that means I'm going waterless. Very, very unfortunate for me.
A player's forces are under attack.
And Weaver just going to continue to farm up. Sand King did manage to do a lot of damage with Epicenter, but really not as much as expected. I don't know if the Earth Splitter actually hit. I think it did, but May and Sentinel were just too spread out. As TC very good in terms of breaking the base, but I think the Earth Splitter may have just been a bit misplaced, and that really prevents Sand King from doing most of his damage. And that CK BKB, very nicely timed. And CK, what is he going to go for? Checking out the items really fast. Nothing on the courier. Nothing on the circle, so CK is going to be struggling for a bit. But Drow still has Aegis for a little bit. No, actually it expired. Gonna go for that MKB, most likely the Crystallis or the Bariza. But she hits like an absolute monster truck. As Sentinel trying to initiate Puck, gonna cast the Illusory Orb. And they're just gonna try to like click down this tower. They don't want to commit too far because they know if they lose this team fight, Drow will take your racks very, very quickly. So Sentinel just gonna back out, try to hope for some more mistakes by Scourge, and Scourge pretty much handed that last engagement, even though it was 1-for-1 to them on a silver platter with that misclick on that BKB Dragonite. But now he is level 16, pretty close to that AC. And again, not too sure what Puck's gonna go for. Jakiro struggling a lot, but Jakiro pretty much has all the ults he needs. Has max Ice Path and Dual Breath. No points liquid fired, which could be good to get 1 point to slow down the attack speed of the Drow and help to push, but still, has most of his skills maxed out, or most of his important skills maxed out for the team fight, other than that macro pyre. As Weaver going to be caught out, I guess this is why you got Lincoln Sphere, because I forgot to tell you, or I forgot to mention that Dragon Tail, very, very good against Weaver. And I guess it does sort of remove the option of getting Hex. I mean, you can still get a Hex, but Weaver does have the option just to Shikuchi out of it, so may have been a bit harsh on the Lincoln Sphere on Weaver, but I still don't like it overall. Sentinel just turtling it up, Smoke of Deceit being popped by the Scourge, trying to find an opening. But I think Scourge, if they want to siege F, if they place the TC ultimate properly, they should be able to get the kill, as looks like Puck is going to be gathered, and they use a Dragonite form ultimate. So that's going to be on cooldown once the push does come in. I'm not too sure about these Dragonite plays at the moment, as he is making some pretty important mistakes. So really, that's going to buy Sentinel another 60 seconds where they don't have to worry about a fight, because they want to have that Dragonite ultimate up before they get pushed in. And the question is, will Roshan respond? No, I think Dragonite ultimate should be back up for the next Roshan engagement. But now, since the ultimate's down, this is the cue for the Sentinel to push in. No ward spotting out the wound by the Sentinel, but here is a ward placed by the Scourge. Gem is going to allow the Sentinel to de-ward it as Dream Cola is being popped. Looks like Sankey going to get immediately bursted down as TC is going to get the Echo Slam, or the Echo Stomp. Ice Path is going to be casted, Door Breath going to be casted, Dragonite just going to walk in with the melee form, not giving any sorts of damage, but Chaos Knight managed to kill off Brown the Slayer, and Dragonite's on the retreat. That ultimate form being casted by the Dragonite ends up costing the Scourge a huge amount, and triple kill being picked up by the Weaver. This is a huge swing in terms of momentum. This tower is still at full HP, so the Sentinel do have a chance to push down this tier 1 tower without this tower dying, but they are going to send somebody back. It is a lot of farm. Chaos Knight is going to back off. The BK was already used, and he is pretty low in terms of mana. But we were picking up a triple kill. Not only will accelerate his next item, as the blink forward by the Puck trying to catch out of TC, but TC so long range with that initiation and Stressful Spirit giving people bonus wound speed is just icing on top of the cake. But tower being claimed pretty much for free, and Drow actually died in that engagement as well. Didn't happen to see that in the background. But that Dragon Knight form and the fact that that's sort of the weakness of TC, as here comes the engagement, going to try to pick up the Sand King. Ice Path does manage to hit the TC, so going to delay the Echo Stomp for a bit, but meanwhile Jakiro, just going to teleport out right in the face. I thought that was an enemy's TP, but Jakiro smartly just gets the heck out of there. Sentinel got a tower for free to defend their tier 2 tower, all at the price of a BKB charger too. Drow only 8-second BKB. I imagine Dragonite is probably at 6 seconds at this point. But now Dragonite does have his ultimate up, but you can sort of see the weakness of TC in these large open engagements. And this engagement not really the most open, sort of some clumped up areas here and there, but in these large open engagements you can really find it easy to dodge the Echo Slam or the Echo Stomp as well as the Earth Splitter. And Sentinel do send some things up, but we were very hesitant to approach against that gem by the TC. And I'm pretty sure with the Ancestral Spirit, the gem will give vision. It should act similar to an illusion, at least based on Warcraft 3 coding. But that's just a guess. If it is, then that's just super good. But Weaver is going to have a lot of gold in the bank. Almost 4.8k. Hopefully he won't buy straight up Radiance. I don't think Radiance will give him enough bang for his buck, as right now he is very survivable, and that is the point of Lincoln's. But I think Radiance might just be a little bit too late to really do a significant amount of damage. Hopefully it's something like an MKB or a Crystallis into a Bariza. As it is Drow with another Aegis to her name, the question is, when will the Scourge push come in again? Probably when Drow finishes up that Bariza, I'm guessing. She really wants to have as much damage as possible, but it's very difficult considering TC. One of the problems is that he stands so far back that they can't really see the Weaver unless the Spirit does manage to give true sight, which I imagine it does. It makes a lot of sense if it does. And Chaos Knight still on his gem, not picking up any items very soon. Probably going to go for the Reaver into a heart. Seems to make the most sense here. And that is a finished item. A Radiance has been finished by the Weaver. As Puck has been really good in terms of picking out the Sand King in these engagements, and you know, I guess these engagements are pretty long, but I'd still like the bit of the extra oomph in terms of right click, in terms of Weaver just bursting people down. And Reigns, I don't think will give you enough damage. I mean, the burn damage does hurt, but there is a mecha up. And there is BKB reducing a lot of the damage. Sand King's fine fish, the Veil. Nina struggling a lot. TC's not picked up any items very soon. I think he might have refreshed his drum charges. No, he's just holding on to a lot of gold. Probably gonna go back into a pipe, I'm guessing. And Bariza has been fished by the Drow. Drow very hesitant to reveal it. But Scourge do still have the upper hand. They do have a bit more map control. Even though they do have an 8-kill deficit, I still believe Scourge are ahead. Checking out the levels. Yeah, the kills. Actually, Scourge out-leveling the Sentinel, because they have been getting more mid-game kills. And here comes the mass push in. And if TC and Sand King play their cards right, then everybody on Sentinel should be wiped, other than perhaps the Weaver. And I imagine Weaver going to go for Heart after this. But still, I think he needs a bit more damage. But I guess maybe his logic is that if I stand around right-clicking, they can just kill me with Dragonite. As there is going to be initiation stun. Phantasm is popped. It is a level 4 Phantasm. As here comes the initiation by the TC. He's going to get the full on Echo Stomp. But looks like Chaos Knight is just going to take so much damage right to the chin. Gem has been dropped. Puck unable to get that Dream Coil off. And that is going to cost the Scourge dearly. But Weaver managed to pick up a kill on the backline. Sand King is going to get stomped. Dominating streak by Weaver has been ended. And no buybacks. And once TC and Sand King got their push going, I think that was a misplay by the Puck. He should just stay as far back as possible. And then tried to blink in with the silence and the Dream Coil stun to try to disable the TC. But once that Echo Slam got popped, it was really difficult for, or the Echo Stomp being popped with the Earth Splitter in that percenter, it was really difficult for the Sentinel to fight a successful engagement, as Weaver does buyback, but not in time to save the racks. Drow is going to lose her Aegis, but Weaver might end up losing the buyback as well. Very unfortunate, and Puck's going to die, and the assault by the Scourge just too much at this point. As not really, it's not like Reigns or Bariza would have made a difference for the Weaver, but you can see how useless Lincoln Sphere was. Maybe he should have just gone for a straight up BKB. And ultimately, I think it was Puck played very, very well most of the game. Got that nice initiation with the Dagon Dream Coil to kill off the Sand King, but when it counted, unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the job done. And now Drow's just going to become even more and more scary. He's going to have a Butterfly up very, very soon, I imagine. Dragonite going to be close to whatever item he decides to go for, whether it be Heart or Satanic or whatever he wants. Anything's possible when you're a dragon. Meanwhile, he's saying to Puck, "You're just a wimpy little fairy dragon. I turn into a giant, ice-breathing dragon. You are very, very inferior compared to me." As Chaos Knight Reaver gives him more HP, only gives him 25 damage. But, I mean, Chaos Knight can only do so much in these giant team fights. Chaos Knight really good as a ganking carry, but if he doesn't have him, it's not really that good in terms of team fights. Assuming the enemy team's all in the proper positioning. But still, Sentinel, they're gonna fight on. This is the group stages, but maybe IO is on the verge of being eliminated in the groups. And, you know, if they have the Puck get the initiation off onto the TC or the Sand King, there goes a lot of the damage on the side of the Sentinel, but I think what's coming back to bite the Sentinel is, I mean, I know that their supports are super. Puck is going for Lincolns. What the fuck is this shit? Man, Southeast Asians and their Lincoln Spheres, they have a love affair, but 5k gold for an item that really does not do nearly as much as other items do is just going to come back to bite them on a bigger stage one of these days. As here comes the wraparound initiation. Smoke of Deceit has been popped. Storm is going to catch pretty much everybody on side Sentinel. Look at TC run. This is the start of the initiation that Sentinel want, but TC is going to back up, going to cast the Earth Splitter. Will it be able to catch anybody on Sentinel? Not going to catch anybody, and Sand King is going to be the first one to pop. Meanwhile, Drow trying to go to work, but unfortunately is going to get bursted down, and these are the fights that the Sentinel want, trying to catch off TC. Meanwhile, it looks like Light Blue managed to die. TC did get chased to death by that Weaver. Dragonite going to die as well. Sentinel fighting back, throwing a last-ditch uppercut when it looked like they're out for the count. And that might get him a little bit of extra time, might get him back into fighting shape for the next round, but the question is, Can they recover from all those body blows?
Player's forces are under attack.
But again, you saw how little TC and Sanking could do when some just wrapped around and just rushed right at them. TC and Sanking, very strong team fighters, but really when they don't have the time to channel their abilities, whether it be Earth Splitter or Echo Stomp or Epicenter, they really can't really deal nearly as much damage. And that is going to allow Weaver to get his way towards that next item. I guess Weaver might be regretting his decision to buy back now, but still. And will that allow CK to pick up his heart? Will mean that CK very, very difficult to bring down at this point. No, CK still quite far away. No, actually he did have the heart up. And I think it might just be time for Weaver to just say, fuck it, go for Rapier. Just say, fuck it, YOLO. But I was going to elaborate on a different point. I was going to say, before that Lincoln's round puck, I mean, sure, the Sentinel supports are very underfarmed for good reason. They want to give the farm to the carries. But I think if one of these supports manages to sit down, I mean, Mechanism hasn't finished on shouting, but I think that was overall pretty late. But if they manage to get a pipe, I think so much of the damage could have been reduced despite there being a Veil on the other side. Because the Sentinel doing a nice job isolating the Dragonite and the Weaver, preventing them from getting the fullest. But this TC and Sand King combination just been super good. And looks like the Scourge want to push in. They want to end it. They don't want to give the Sentinel any more time to breathe. And they know that the Sentinel are only winning these engagements when there's giant messes where TC and Sand King can't properly position themselves. So they're just going to stay super far back. Make sure that doesn't happen ever again. Interesting enough, no wards. I guess it was dewarded by the Chaos Knight. Does he still have the gem? Who's got the gem? Jakiro's got the gem. But Sentinel just gonna, or the Scourge just gonna clump up as 5, and Sentinel not in the position to sort of cut around. As you can see, Sand King staying so far back, actually just gonna buy a TP scroll. No, just staying far back. Sand King, Sand King, Sand King. What are you doing, Sand King? I guess they're trying to bait out the Sentinel. But this tower is in deny range. Drowse is gonna teleport back. Gonna allow this tower to deny. Look at these crits by Drow, 912, and she's only gonna hit harder and harder. Very close to that Satanic, I imagine. Yeah, it can finish it very, very soon, but obviously gonna save her buyback as Sentinel want to push in. But I don't know if this is the right move. They've been so successful at these giant, sort of convoluted engagements. But they want to get some map control. They know the third Roshan with the H's and the G's. Very, very important. If they can't claim that, it's gonna be so difficult. If something like the TC manages to get the cheese, if Drow gets the Aegis, it doesn't matter how many times Sand King and TC die if Drow can just right click for eternity. Chaos Knight, unfortunately, well, still has a 6-second BKB. Weaver, saving up for that buyback. Obviously, doesn't have enough money to really buy an item. Might just be time to sell that Aquila, get a Crystallis or something. Just give him any sort of damage. As I guess I forgot to mention, one of the other aspects of Rain can allow him to split push a bit better. And, you know, Scourge want to fight up in giant groups of 5. If you split push, you're never really going to give them an opening, but of course that's going to be so much more difficult when you're down 2 Raxes, because those groups just take an eternity to die. And man, if the Drow Aura was still global on the creeps, then I think these groups would have probably claimed a couple tier 4 towers by now. Speaking that there only are a couple of tier 4 towers, then that's pretty much enough said about that Drow Aura. But now has that 9 range for creeps, even if it is still global for the heroes. Better than nothing, I suppose. And unfortunately, Sentinel gonna have to defend their lanes. Puck gonna try to get back in position. Still no Lincoln Sphere on Puck because it's not a good item, but mostly because he can't really get in position. And Sentinel tried to clear the waves as fast as possible. Are going to get in time to get back in this gauge, and Dragonite is going to be isolated, but it looks like Sand King is going to get the Epicenter channel to the fullest. Shouty is going to get completely chain stunned. Earthspear going to chain stun the Twin Head Dragon, and there goes the Bucket to Sales. The Gem going to finish off the Weaver, and I think this is GG for the Sentinel. When Scourge get their positioning going, few heroes are as good as TC and Sand King, and this is why we need to see TC in Dota 2. Just a very, very useful hero. As pretty much this is all but over. 2 racks down, all their heroes are dead. Weaver can buy back, but what can Weaver do? Chaos Knight doesn't have buyback either. But looks like Io gonna fall in this matchup from the group stages. But yeah, enough said. I mean, we all knew it when it came down to the late game. Drow with this team fight won't lose. Sentinel did a very admirable job delaying the inevitable, fighting when they were at the strongest, which is just by rotating around, catching people out of position. But still, the item choices, whether it be lack of pipe, whether it be too many Lincolns, or whether it be overall their team composition. As you saw the power of their lineup, they're still ahead in terms of kills because of that gank spree in the mid game. But once it came down to the late game, really honestly nothing they could do. As look at Drow shot, just 3-shot that twin-head dragon. Dragonite showing Puck who the superior dragon is, saying Puck you're not even alive, but I'm still showing you who's the boss dragon. And just waiting for the GGs, as it looks like Io is going to be the first one to flinch. They are going to fall in this series, or in this game. I don't think it was a series. This was still the group stages. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll probably bring you 1 or 2 more GEST February matches. But again, there will be a Dota 1 project in the near future, so keep your eyes out on that vlog, spread the word, please. And thank you all for watching, as usual. Thanks for the support. Unfortunately, I was too stupid to pause, but yep, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.